Hey guys, welcome to round 2 of the Beaver State Fling. We're here at Milo McIver State Park on the West Course. My name's Paige Pierce.
And I'm Madison Walker, and we're going to be commentating today for you guys.
We got some sweet Jomez coverage made by the PDJ and Dynamic Disc.
This is one of our favorite places on the planet, both of our favorite places on the planet, so we are excited to be commentating and also playing, of course.
This is hole 1. It's pretty brutal, par 4, 630 feet with lots of out of bounds, so you really got to place your first shot good to make sure you're set up for a good second shot.
This is definitely one of the hardest holes probably at Milo, and they put it on hole 1 just to give you a nice greeting to the beginning of the round.
And I just want to let you know, I kind of shanked a few on the first hole. I was nervous about Jomez covering us a little bit, maybe.
They get up close and personal. So on this drive, you want to keep it in the middle as much as possible to set yourself up to either go for the green on the second shot, or a lot of people in the women's field will just lay up right next to the road, which you'll see after this shot.
We're trying to hit right where the chase cam is one of the best drives possible. For the women's card, we're not really attacking the green on our first, where our first shot lands, so basically just get as far as you can and then pitch up for a safe second shot.
This hole is friendly for forehand and backhand. You can attack it both ways, and there's a nice line for both. Even though it looks real tight, it's got a little space.
Last up, we got Alyssa Ficus from Texas. She's one of my favorite people to play with. She's very energized, so you'll see a good round from her, I'm sure.
Is this one of her first Beaver States?
I think it's her first.
It is her first?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought coming out west. This was her first time coming out west.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Gonna have a little bit of a rough lie in there, but she's sidearm dominant, I would say. So.
And that's what you got to do on your second shot, is just pitch out to that open. It's real easy to attack the green from there.
I'm trying to go under this branch right here.
Trying.
A little bit too high. So I'm gonna have to settle for bogey at best case scenario.
That's a great shot. A lot of people, too, on their second shot might try to crash right into those bushes, but that gives you a little bit of a hairy approach.
That's where I wanted to be on the last shot, but, you know, one stroke worse now, that's fine.
So that road going through is OB and also OB to the left of it. So you can see Lisa's safely crashing to the right of the green.
It's a good play if you're going to error to the right of the basket for sure. Cat's probably just going to lay up into the middle. Go for the easy approach we were just talking about.
That'll work.
Safe. That's all I wanted. A little too much hyzer on it, but it's safe.
Those two little trees that they, I guess, maybe planted in the past couple of years in the middle, right before the green, you'd think they wouldn't affect that much, but man, they do get in the way.
Great shot by Jessica. She's going to have a tap in. I think on this one, Catrina put a little more hyzer on it than she wanted. Obviously, you want to be closer than that, but she's a great putter, so I'm sure she was just happy to be in bounds. Lisa, also one of the best putters in the women's field. That is a rare occurrence from her airball, so we'll see some good putting from Lisa all around.
Paige Pierce, another one of the best putters in the women's game.
I told you I was nervous. I told you I was nervous.
With an airball, a rare occurrence also.
Why do you have to be watching this? Double bogey, double bogey.
That felt like a 7 to me.
Fun fact, this is the only hole I did not practice.
Oh yeah, we didn't. We didn't practice.
We started on hole 2 and then didn't come back to hole 1.
Excuses.
I know, I'm trying. Lisa routine tap in and same for Catrina.
And once that hole's out of the way, you can breathe a little easier because it can be brutal. It can be mean.
Definitely. And hole 2, moving on to hole 2, there's not any out of bounds that you have to worry about, so you can kind of relax a little bit and just throw a power hyzer, which you will see very briefly. You want to throw the bushes you see on your left and the big pine, you want to get just around that. You don't want to come out early and hyzer into that, so just make sure your hyzer's wide and then go from there with your approach shot.
And on to one of the most picturesque and beautiful greens in the sport of disc golf.
Jessica with an awesome backhand. The height she had on that is exactly what you want to get that stall around the corner. If it's too flat, you're going to end up too straight into the woods. And Catrina goes even higher, which is even better.
It'll put you further down the fairway, so your second shot's a little bit more reachable to the green. It'll still be a distance drive on the approach shot, or maybe a fairway drive, but it's still a good 300 feet down there.
Another shot, another good hyzer.
And that pine tree, it might look friendly, but it's not. We had a couple girls land in there on my cart, and it was tough to find the disc and tough to get out.
Great shot.
Perfect.
Lisa's up first. Got to navigate through this electrical box. It'll be right in the open. Not quite a putt, but a very easy approach or a longer jump putt. Catrina, I believe that's an M2. Overstable mid. Put it right and hoping for a hyzer in, and it's exactly what she got. She'll have a pretty
Great
routine putt. The FollowFlight shot tracker. Pretty sweet.
Nice. That is fancy. This green's really nice too because you can putt. If you land short, you can putt at kind of a big wall, so you don't have to worry about going too far past. It's got a backstop.
Jessica, I remember this shot. It came out a little early. She was not thrilled with it, but you know, she's a good scrambler, so she's gonna have a routine shot for her. I'd never been this close, so I actually went putter up shot with my Marshall, and I got on the green, so I was
That's
iffy shot for me. I wasn't sure.
When you land over there on the left, it's a little riverbed, so you can kind of get a little space down there, but it's still definitely tough. Lots of branches.
She was tucked in. We had to look for that for a little bit. Lisa with a great attempt. I remember her saying, "Get in."
And she will throw them in from that far away. If there's one thing that Lisa's good at, that's it.
And Jessica's one of the best Anheuser putters. So anytime there's an obstacle, I almost think she's going to make it more than a routine putt.
Kind of forces the line.
Yeah.
Nice.
Little high. I was super happy that one stuck after my 6 on the first hole.
This is all around just a good disc golf hole. In general.
All around.
All around.
Clean up by Lisa, and Kat will follow. And after these holes, we move into 3 wooded holes, actually 2 wooded holes, and the third is half wooded. But these are some of the tighter, shorter holes that we're going to move into, a little more technical. So
Very technical, very tight for Milo.
this is definitely one of the hardest tee shots, I would say, and I believe it's the shortest hole on the course. No, the next hole is, yeah.
So yeah, this one is a turnover, like a nice little gentle slowly fading anhyzer or a forehand. If you hit any of those trees that you can see, there's quite a few of them. There's a couple. If you hit any of those and kick left, you're going to go down a big hill. So you want to try to avoid that left kick.
Used my keen towel because some of these tee pads are super slippery. Putter anhyzer. That's actually the closest I've ever been.
That's about as close as anyone can get on this hole.
It's such a hard gap to hit.
It's hard to force the turnover and get that fade at the end too. That lets you finish out any closer to the basket.
I was actually surprised to see Kat go sidearm on this hole, but it worked out super well. She's such a good backhand anhyzer thrower, so yeah. I was confused, but she landed perfectly and cured the gap.
She's been adding the sidearm to her game a lot. In Utah, she was throwing it pretty regularly, even on a wide open ball golf course, and making it work.
Lisa, when she let that go, I thought it was the best drive in the group, and it hit the inside ghost tree, yeah. Jess, I'm not sure what she was trying here. Honestly, when she was lining it up, I was like, I wanted to tell her that will never work. But she had something in mind that,
she's just trying to penetrate, get a little closer to the basket. That's kind of all you can do on this hole. A lot of times when you land in the middle there's no real shot.
Lisa throwing a flippy mid. You could see her from her body language. She thought she pured it. She thought she made it. She's really fun to watch, so I'm glad Jomez caught her on the lead card. Cat for 2 from outside circle 2, I would say. Perfect line, a little bit low. Mine was, I would say, 42 to 46 feet. What? Stop laughing.
Approximately 43 and a half, maybe. Give or take a few inches.
I never two'd that hole before. I was stoked about that.
Oh, yeah, you made it. That's awesome.
Lisa, like I said, one of the best putters in the women's field.
Yeah.
Little fist pump there.
Victory dance.
She's starting to feel it. Yeah.
The slow-mo fist pump.
I'm so glad you got her little.
There will be many more of those, I assume.
Jessica routine bogey. She knew after she hit the first tree it was going to be a bogey, so she wasn't too bummed with that. Honestly, a 4 is not bad on that hole. I would take a 4.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you kind of have to forgive yourself. It really is such a tight fairway.
Especially with this next hole coming up. You know you can get it back with a 2. Like we said, the shortest hole on the course. Not a whole lot in your way either, really.
Under 200, it's a nice little gentle putter shot.
This little skinny tree on the left's kind of in your way, but if you miss that, you're golden, no matter where you land, honestly.
This is another one, if you do shank it and kick left, you're going to go down a big cliff and you don't want to be down there, but it's pretty straightforward.
What if you shank it and kick right? Like
you're good
this.
Up there. Oh, no. Like this. That doesn't happen very much.
I know, I late released it, grip lock. Catrina, opposite of me, she early released it, hyzered out. Luckily, it missed those 2 trees. It hyzered out. We actually thought it was fine until we got up there and realized it was down the hill. Oh. Yeah, it was down the hill. Lisa, beautiful Nova shot. She throws that thing so well.
Yes, she does. She used to putt with those as well.
Yeah.
Kind of switches up her putter a lot.
Yeah.
She's always changing. She was throwing a putter that was in star plastic last time I played with her.
Jessica, she was looking to make up for that last hole, but unfortunately maybe put a little too much pressure on herself.
Going back to her money game, the forehand.
Yeah, I was curious what that disc was actually. I looked at it, it said mortar.
Yeah.
Because I don't see her throw that much.
The mortar's
and when she grabbed it out, I was confused.
Basically, it's a beadless gator.
I'm not a hyzer putter. That tree was right in my way, so I really wasn't planning on making that, just kind of throwing up a prayer. Kat was so close to hitting that one. I couldn't see like what her line looked like, but I'm guessing it was a hyzer around that tree.
Ooh.
Lisa is a hyzer putter, and that tree was on her right side, so just kind of caught the edge of the tree. And Jessica, like yeah, amazing Anheuser putter. Anytime something's in the way, I'm counting on it going in.
Even though you want a 2 on this hole, a 3 is not bad. But it's hard to swallow a 3 on a 175-foot hole.
What'd you get?
A 3. I can't call it a chain.
How many 2s did you have in your group?
2. 2 2s, 2 3s.
Now we're on to hole 5.
This one, what you said about the tee?
Oh, the tee pad's really slick, and also it's not really facing the gap. It's facing the basket, though. So I have to come off really hard off the left side and kind of force my body into the gap. So it feels a little foreign.
It's like we're way up high on a hill, and you have to throw a hyzer, but that's nose down. So it's definitely kind of a weird shot. It's a low ceiling hyzer.
Yeah, so I'm throwing my beat-in Bio Fusion Enforcer on a hyzer flip and just hoping to get under those branches.
Yeah. You kind of almost have to work the disc a little bit too, because where the tee pad is facing and where... Oh, a roller?
Yeah, as you can see, she kind of slipped a little on that tee pad. She kind of made a comment about slipping. That's why I put my towel down. I think it's...
I've never seen someone throw a roller off that tee.
Yeah, she threw it all last year as well. I think she got a putt on it last year.
Yeah, you can see Lisa's came out and hyzer. It's because all the trees and branches that are right off the tee pad on the edge of the hill, you have to kind of go around those while still trying to throw a hyzer. It's a tough shot. 3's good on this hole. If you have a putt for 2, you did something right.
We were looking for that one for a minute too, Jess, as we couldn't tell if it came down or not, but...
All the approaches are low ceiling, so it makes it real tough. You'll see everyone kind of keeps it real low. Skip shots are definitely in play on this hole.
Yeah, out there, honestly, we weren't getting much skips.
Weren't either.
Kat's shot that just skipped, that was awesome. Instead of a 45-footer, it got her up to a 30-footer. Lisa, I believe that's her P2.
Yep. This basket is just slightly elevated. It drops off a little bit on each side. It's just, maybe a couple feet elevated between those trees and a little bed.
Ooh.
But nothing too crazy. It was a little bit windy when we played this hole, just a tiny bit. You can see the flag waving in the background.
Lisa got worked on this putt twice in a row. Right behind us on another hole, someone screamed, "No!" And she had to step away from her putt. She stepped back onto it again, and they yelled again, but if you saw her shaking her head no, she just went through it and missed. And same with Kat. She was very upset with that one, especially after missing another putt early. Jess taps in, and...
This is one of those holes in the women's game where if you have a putt for 2, like I said, you had a great drive, probably one of your best drives. It's really easy to take a 4 if you mess up that drive off the tee. 3s are there, but you should be happy with a 3 and also be okay with a 4 if it happens.
Kat's gonna clean up, and we are on to hole 6, which is Philo's Albatross hole. You think anyone's gonna do it this year?
I would hope so, but I doubt it. I actually had a shot for 3 on this hole.
I was playing with Dustin Keegan, and he almost did in practice. It was sweet. I mean, we couldn't see because we weren't down there, but...
It was definitely right on line.
So where the guy was in that video, you want your second or third shot maybe for the girls to be where that guy was.
This first shot is just a big, like another sky hyzer.
Like hole 2, yeah.
You want to try to penetrate left, but you don't want to go too early because there's a big pine tree that you definitely don't want to contend with. But
again, that was the farthest I'd been on this hole.
If you go straight, towards that flag, that's not a bad shot either. You cut off some distance of the hole since you're having to go left, but it's not a bad place to be.
Kat had the right idea going with the high hyzer, but the disc kind of flipped up to flat and rode that flat line for too long. She's going to be too far right compared to where she wanted to be.
But it works over there.
Yeah, it does, for sure.
A lot of people have a tendency to go straight, especially because we had a headwind on that hole when we played it. So
yeah, it was. This is right when it started getting windy. We could feel the rain was about to start hitting. Jessica with a lower Anheuser release. I'm not sure if that's what she wanted.
Yeah, those last three just didn't cut the corner enough. Because then your approach, you don't want to land on that hill. You want to be able to have a little flat run up. But that'll work. Great
second shot placement. This shot was so impressive to me that Kat's throwing right now. I used to have that disc in my bag, a purple D1, really beaten.
Nice work.
It was beautiful to watch, and she landed perfectly. Perfect placement.
So that in the middle of the fairway, you kind of can't tell what, but there's a huge pine tree past all the grass that's up on the second level of the fairway. You have to go left or right of that depending on where your drive lands. You kind of want to set yourself up on the second shot, but it's harder than it sounds.
I decided to go for this because it wasn't it's farther than I'd ever been, and I got through everything and ended up with about a 40-footer for 3. That was, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
That is unbelievable.
That was my bio defender.
Most women's second shot lands right in that tall grass near where Lisa just was and where you'll see Jessica throwing from.
Yeah, Lisa was a little bit too right. Jessica's second shot is exactly where you want to be. And she's going with the high hyzer, which is perfect choice. She actually commented to me after she made it that she wishes it was a tiny bit wider, and that's why she landed just on the edge.
So that left side, that corner where Jessica just landed, is a very common place to accidentally land.
Absolutely.
If you saw one off or if you put it just a little short, it gets kind of hairy in there. There's not really an outshot. You'll see a lot of people throwing rollers or just like punching out with their putter to get out on the green, but that pine tree is a common area to be. Is that a pine tree?
I don't know.
Fir?
It's one of the trees with a trunk and branches.
It's like a big Oregon tree.
I really wanted that one.
Oh, no. That would have been sweet.
Yeah. Not sure what happened there. I heard her say something under her breath, but I wasn't exactly sure. But you don't see air balls from Kat, so something must have happened. Lisa actually stuck on the top of the basket and stuck vertically, so it was like almost rolled into the basket. She'll settle for bogey. And Catrina's up on this. She makes it without chains, but you don't need them sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, she doesn't usually miss those. There was a couple uncharacteristic putts, myself included, on this round.
Yeah,
so
I think Milo...
I think we were nervous for Jomez to be watching.
Well, I think Milo had its teeth out yesterday. I heard a lot of people talking about missed short putts, which is strange. There's something in the air. So
we're on hole 7 now. This is the first of 2 island shots. We're going to be wanting to throw it at the right side of the road and just letting it hyzer in. Anywhere safe is good. Don't worry about distance, just be safe.
Yeah, we had a good wind on this hole. If you had a headwind, it'd be a little bit hairy because you could accidentally flip your disc into the grass out of bounds over the road on the right. You also don't want to hyzer too much because you could skip and go out of bounds in a parking lot on the left. So it's a nice wide landing zone, but you can see Paige right there. If she had had a little bit more on it, definitely could have skipped OB.
Yeah, for sure. Catrina up next.
If you do not land safe, there is a drop zone right at the head of the island closest to the tee pad. It's still a drive in and approach from the basket at that point. It's still about 400 feet away?
I would say so, yeah. Somewhere in there.
The drop zone, yeah, doesn't give you really much advantage.
Lisa's was a little nose up and 2 hyzer. She wasn't happy with it. She turned around, didn't finish watching her shot, and we told her it was safe, and she was like super stoked, like, yeah, cool, okay, I'll take it. Jess up next, also with a backhand, 4 backhands on this hole. She tried to do a hyzer flip, but it didn't flip enough and went out of bounds. She ended up going to the drop zone, which she was hitting herself for, because you can actually take it the last place it was in bounds. After she threw the shot, she realized she didn't say provisional, so she had to play it that way. Instead, she kind of...
you can take it up on the island?
Yeah, so they had a meeting before the second round started and clarified that. She didn't go to that meeting, and neither did Catrina, because we also had to clarify a couple other things scorecard-wise. So she was kind of hitting herself about that, but she shook it off pretty quick. And
so this approach is another of Milo's mini low ceiling approaches. All those tree branches hang down real low, so it doesn't let you get any sort of glide. A lot of people will land short and in between those 2 trees. Another route would be to go wide hyzer around the trees over the road all the way down. That's the route I took. And it gives you really the only option to get close to the basket unless you can really punch a mid-range.
Lisa with her Nova, pretty deadly. She almost threw from the wrong lie. This is funny. She marked her disc and then went back to her bag and then went to the disc instead of the marker. And I yelled at her, like, stop!
Typical Lisa.
Yeah. We actually saw Hokum throw in for 2 on this hole from about 350 feet. It was incredible. We all got to watch because we were backed up waiting on them, and then the cart in front of them had a good view as well.
There's not going to be many or any 2s.
I don't think there will be another 2 from a woman this year or next year even.
Definitely not from a woman.
It was insane. She was just barely past the drop zone.
That is just...
I don't know how her drive got there, but hey, if your second shot's in the basket, who cares where your first shot was? So Jess will settle with a bogey. Like I said, she shakes it off pretty quick. And we're on to our second island hole, hole 8. This one's more of a true island. The basket's only, you only have probably 45 feet on each side that's safe. Maybe even less. Actually, like 30.
Yeah. And it's real shallow, too. This hole last year, there was a whole bunch of branches underneath those 2 big trees that we're going through right now. They trimmed it up a little bit, so it makes the fairway a little bit more manageable. Instead of having to throw an outright hyzer, you can kind of play with those trees and not have to worry about your second shot being obstructed.
So I'm throwing my signature Lucid Convict here. Hyzer flip up, and I'm looking for a little hyzer at the end, but the tree gets in my way. Still have it.
Ooh, I outdrove you on this hole.
Oh. My name's Madison Walker.
It was an easy 3, no big deal.
Catrina, looking for the same thing, but a little bit more left than mine, and she gets it.
Not a bad place to be over there.
Yeah, it's great over there.
Gives you a wide open approach to the kind of hairy island.
Lisa looks like she's turning her wrists. She does. Oh, because it's a really overstable disc, it looks like.
And that's what she wanted to do, but she put it a little short. Those bushes can grab you if you're short and you don't want to be in them. There's lots of stickers, lots of stinging nettle, all the stuff you don't want.
Jessica with an amazing anhyzer shot. She's going to get stuck right behind that tree, but she's really good with a putter in her hand, so.
Still workable for sure. Lisa with a nice safe layup. It'll give you a nice little putt approach over the OB onto the island. Long putt. And her specialty is jump putting, so it'll be good.
Jessica goes sidearm, and it just barely skids out of bounds. She'll have a tap in for bogey, though. I went with the backhand reluctantly on this one. I thought I was OB deep, but I guess it sat. Catrina with the sidearm skips off the road and safe. There's no curb on the front side of the island, so it's awesome. If you play a little short, you're typically gonna skid up there.
Yeah, forehand skip shot is definitely the play for this particular island. Yeah, you can see how shallow that island is. Even though she went OB deep, she still only had about a 15-footer. So it's definitely, you have left to right room, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was very surprised with that putt. I think maybe she was nervous about Jomez as well.
There also is a lot of action going on right behind that basket over to the left. There's a tee pad. The tee pad for hole 5 is over there, so or hole 6, whatever it is. There's a lot of action, so focusing on this windy, small island definitely can get into your nerves a little.
Oh, yeah. And you're thinking, just don't airball, just don't go out of bounds. And then what happens? Same, anything you're thinking about, erase that. Just try to look at each putt with a blank slate, like Ricky does. All right, we're on to, I think, the longest hole in the course. Is that right?
Is it?
I don't know.
No, I don't
Seems
think so.
like
I think
a crush.
the one on west.
Philo's albatross hole maybe is longer. But anyway, this is one of the longer holes on the course. Your first shot, there's no way to go too far. You just absolutely throw it as far as you can. Your second shot is a little bit more technical with all those big evergreens.
On your first shot, things you want to look out for, there's that big tree in the middle, obviously. Most people throw a big Anheuser like this.
I'm throwing a Sheriff, and I late release, and it holds my line like I wanted, but since I late released, it's way too far right.
Some of the other things
I've never been over there.
A lot of people have a tendency when they try to throw this Anheuser line to go out left side. There's a parking lot running along the whole left side of the fairway. Some tall grass over there too, kind of signifying where the line is. So you just want to make sure you turn this one over and land out in the field. If you do tuck a little bit too far to the right, it takes away a lot of options as far as approaching to the green. Because you get tucked behind those huge trees on the right side of the fairway. You can kind of poke through, and especially if like Paige, if you can throw high, if you can like power a disc really high up over those trees, it's an option. But for most women, you'd want to try to stay as far close to the left side of the fairway as you can without going out of bounds.
Sit.
That's gonna give a nice approach.
Easy approach from
Apparently that tree on the left-hand side used to be a lot thicker as well, so it was nice to have some room to work with under there this year. Look at those storm clouds.
Yeah, this is right about when it starts to hit us. Jess is unfortunately in one of those big evergreens, so it's going to be a tough up and down.
Those are not friendly at all. A lot of time, you'll see a lot of people on their stomachs.
Yeah.
Huge straddle stances.
Cat landed in one of those as well, and you can see the rain starting to come down.
It came down for a while. There is OB deep on this green as well, but it's a good 35 or 40 feet past the basket. You don't really have to worry about it, but then again, I almost went out of bounds deep, so.
I landed in the tall stuff, so I just pitched out. Did not want to try any hero stuff in this rain. Upshots are my weak point, so I was surprised to hit that basket.
Dang, that was awesome.
When it's raining like this, you just want to be as close to the basket as possible, so I'm sure Kat was stoked when that's just a tap in. Any, 10 footers, 15 footers feel like so nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. You too?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And like any second that you're having to line up your putt, raindrops are falling where your thumb is, and so you're like,
yeah.
trying.
You see Lisa do a spin move after that? It went in, but she didn't like it. She's funny. The most important thing when this weather starts coming down is just staying dry, keeping your hand dry. Mm-hmm. I can't say that enough. Using a whale sack or a dirt bag, whatever you have.
I put a towel in my right pocket and just stick my hand in there
just
all the time.
keep it dry, whatever it takes. Don't grab your bag with your right hand.
Treat it like gold, like a baby.
And this is going to wrap up the front 9 of the second round at the Beaver State Fling by Jomez.
Make sure you tune in to the other video, to the back 9. It's a little bit rainier, a little bit wetter.
You'll see some, maybe some grip locks, some funny things to laugh at. And thanks for tuning in. This was made possible by the PJ and Dynamic Disc. So thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you, Jomez.